Well, I decided to take the paints out of the tin, only because I can't get it all on camera. That when I'm working on a small painting. So I just lifted those out and put that to one side. And I've got my ceramic mixing palette, which I like to use. One thing I haven't done is erase the pencil off that paper. So I'm going to use a dust-free eraser just to do that with. Just take off that residual pencil. Now looking at the colour selection that we've got here, you can see I've repaired this down the bottom. It's in there on the wrong sides, I know. I've got my old mixing brush, very, very old brush. Let's go for the orange first of all. So we're looking at probably this one here initially. So chromium yellow hue deep. That's quite a title. And then we've also got this one here, which is perylene maroon. So I might try those two first of all and see how they go. So chromium yellow hue deep. Right, try that one. Put that one in there. Put a little bit more. And put that in there. Like that. And I'm going to go for the red, which is that perylene maroon. There's that one there. Oh, here we go. You ready for this? Oh, look at that. That is a really, really bright colour. As you can see there, look at that. Oh. That might be a little bit too red on there, look, compared to the photograph. See that? A little bit too red. We need a bit more orange in there, so I'm going to go back to that one. So kind of mix it back and forth until you get the colour that you want it to be. The consistency that you want really is watery. You can thicken it down if you want to, if you want to put another layer over the top. But get that first layer on, then once it's dry, then decide if you want another layer of colour over the top. But for me, that is pretty darn close, isn't it? Let's go for that one, shall we? Yeah. Even though they call this a robin redbreast, it's not really that red, is it? It's more orange. Then you got the body. Now, again, look at the photographs and look at the colours I've got here. I'm not too worried about what the colours are named. I'm just looking at the colour rather than the name, if you know what I mean. So we've got this one here. I'm going to say the name anyway, just so you know what it is. Naples Yellow. Now, I know that this particular brand have named their colours a little bit different to some other manufacturers. But we have got some of the other ones like Payne's Grey, bluish. Payne's Grey, we call it Payne's Grey. Indigo, phthalo blue, sap green. But there are certain names like earth yellow. You think, oh, what's that then? As for the body, now we can go for the earth yellow if we wanted to. Just try that on there a minute. Just a hint of colour, but this needs to be quite pale. Like that. And I'm trying to think, let's go for this one down here, this agate brown or agate brown. Don't know how to pronounce it really. Agate or agate. Again, let me know in the comments, please. So I'm going to try those two colours. So I'm going to go for the agate brown. I know, I probably said it wrong. And the earth yellow. They call me mellow yellow. That's really like a yellow ochre, really, isn't it? Yeah, sort of. Oh, and a big thank you to Phil Winter for the use of the photograph as well. Thank you, Phil. And then we need sort of a brown colour, don't we? We haven't really got much in the way of browns in this mix, have we? But we can make a brown if need be. We've got this one, which is quite rich. That's that agate brown, or agate brown. And I think with that, I'm going to dull it down. I'm going to use a bit of blue in that. And let's try, yeah. I go for the French blue, or French ultramarine, really, isn't it? Near enough. Just to dull it down a little bit more. I'll try that one. Ah, see, that's not too bad, you know. So I want the same again, but this time a little bit more blue in it. Now let's get the lightest colour on first of all. So we go for the blue one. I might, make that purple. Let's go for the Brilliance Blue Violet, which is this one. Just playing with those colours really and see what I can do with them. Now you need to dry the paper in between each individual layer. That just stops it kind of running into one another, doesn't it? So what I want to do, I don't think I'll bother wetting it too much. Make sure this is nice and watery, by the way. Using the size 2 brush again. Very lightly, just drop it onto the paper. If it's too much, rinse that brush out like that. And then, very lightly, lift off a small amount where it's needed. For example, it's slightly darker and richer towards the left-hand side than the right-hand side. That's being sort of very picky, isn't it? We don't have to get that accurate with it, really don't. And also these little areas down there, slightly purple. These feathers here, I nearly started singing then. I know, don't tell anybody though. So I'll add some in there. I'll need to lighten it a little bit more, so it's too rich. Clean damp brush, and then soften it back so it lightens it down. And add that on. Yeah, there's one. Now these are quite brown down there, so we can use our brownie mix for those. Other than that, this one here has got a slight hint of purple. I'm going to leave a bit of a lighter edge to it. Yeah, probably around there. Again, I'll lighten that in a minute by just using the damp clean brush. The same on this one. Wash that brush out once again. There are lots of washing brushes out at this stage. They do really well. And soften it back just a tiny amount. If it's too rich in one area or too dark, get that clean damp brush and just lift a bit of paint off like that. That is all you need to do with it, really, for those areas. I know. Now, I know this is still damp, but I think we'll get away with it. I'm going to go with the brown. Give it a light mix. Some colours might separate within your mixing palette, so every now and then just give them a quick mix up. Whatever paints or colours you're using. Then add these in. Fill all these in now. Up until this section here, the end of the feathers are more of your purpley mix. It's looking colourful, isn't it? And then the end of the feathers as well. Every now and then you'll need to make some of these together, so I'm going to drop this brown in, grab some of the purple, and then drop that in as well for the rest of those areas. Then lighten again where it's needed. So what I can do now, clean damp brush again, and lift off a little bit of paint where it just needs to be lighter on those certain feathers. Some feathers are lighter than others. As for the belly, see that's sort of separate from everywhere else at the moment, isn't it? I think I'll dampen this, you know, just for now. And this is what we're going to use that brown for again. I'll drop that in. But, there's always a but. The very edge I'm going to leave clear. I've not wetted down there. That's because it's quite white in that area, isn't it? And lift. Then that's ready then to receive the orange just above. So that's what we're doing. Got the idea now. I'm going to carry on over the top of the head, work my way around, and then down towards the tail. The white area here, we'll leave that alone for now, until we dried it. Once it's dried, then we can start adding some little bits of colour in there as well. But not much. It's quite white in there, isn't it? Then before we do the log, we'll give the whole thing a dry again, and then we can finally paint the orange around the head. I think I'll wet it down this time. It's quite a large area, isn't it? Well, large for this painting anyway. Be careful not to wet inside that orange area, and allow that water to soak into the paper. I did forget about the beak then, you know. I'm going to go for a touch of cobalt blue light, which is, from these £1/2 paints, that one just there. Give it a try, shall we? Just a small amount should do, nice and watery though. And then we can add that, not too much on the brush, just to the top part of the beak, into blue. That will do. Oh, that rhymes. And then down to about there. Got to make sure this is painted in before we paint that orange, because that would make the bird stand out there, wouldn't it? That would give it that classic sort of, you know, robin feel. And then soften that back. And there we go. That's the beak tinted in. Tinted in. There you go. Tintin. Now this hair is nearly dry down there, I can just add a little bit of water just underneath there. That. Grab some more brown and add that in. Just to darken that one area down. If you want to darken it even more, you can add a touch of our sort of dark blue in. That'll give you more of a sort of a Payne's grey, really dark colour, isn't it? Nearly Payne's grey, not quite, I know. But can certainly do the job. Just to darken down that under area there. And as I said earlier on, if you haven't got any of these colours that I've got here, just use the colours that you've got, which look similar, only similar, to the ones that I'm using today. That's all. Now the legs and feet are going to be quite simple. We need something like a alizarin crimson, but I don't know if I've got that within here. That's probably similar to it, not quite the same though, Perulian maroon. We can try that one. That can go in there, just with a tiny amount of water. Yeah, probably that. We'll try that. This needs to be really weak, so if you're using alizarin crimson, make sure you've got a very watered down colour to add this onto the paper. And because these are new paints, I don't know which ones stain and which don't. So when you put the colour on, you're not sure if you'll be able to get it off again. Do the same on the other one. And then a little bit of our blue colour for those claws. Okay, once again, give it a quick dry, and then guess what? We'll paint the orange. Yay! Oh, and by the way, if you find that your colour is too wishy-washy, too kind of watered down, you can go over the top again if you want to, once it's completely bone dry. Lightly dampen it first of all, don't soak it through, then carefully add those colours, but very quickly over the top. Well, it's nice and dry, which means I can go for my orange colour. Here we go. It's more of a milky consistency now because it started to dry. So we're going to put a small amount on to begin with. Oh, look at that, that's quite rich actually, isn't it? And then I'm going to wet the brush, give it a good wash out, and then lightly, make sure there's no runs on that metal ferrule, just soften it back. Probably a little bit more water on the brush, but not too much. Soften it back. So I'm using that amount of colour initially, just to get some colour on the paper. Then I'll move it around, as far as I can anyway. These colours do water down quite well, I have to say. For paints which are not mega expensive, they're doing alright, you know. Yeah, and that's my honest opinion. Just down there. A little bit more. Probably about there. It might be a little bit too far over there, but it could do. We'll soften it back there a lot. Then we'll do the same just above the eye. Into here and up there. Bit of orange. Then add that in very carefully. Very carefully like that. Try and see the shape that you can see there as well, also the angle it goes at. I might just enrich that just a fraction more there. Just to make it stand out a little bit more. A few little flicks. Heading out, like that. Up towards the nostril on the beak. I might just draw some of the details in once this is dry. A little bit more, 'cause it's not quite enough in there now. Then bring that down towards the chest. The robin red breast, or should I say the robin orange breast. Hello, hello. It is though, really, isn't it? And we see these in our garden most days. Lovely little birds. Do note I've increased the colour in certain areas, like down there, and I put a touch more colour just around there, which gives you the impression of another layer of feathers there, doesn't it? Let's walk on that branch. Now, we can see we've got quite a lot of light areas. Now, the light area really is like a blue, which was that cobalt blue. I'll put a touch more in there. But very, very watery. Okay, let's use a little bit of this now. Add this probably to the top of the branch. Again, if it's too thick, just wet that brush again and water it down just a touch more. And that will work quite well as a highlight. So a light hint of blue highlight. A bit more water in it. Touch more down there. And around here, all the way along the top of this branch. And to the left hand side of these sections that we can see. Now we need some green, don't we? Some really bright green. I want to look at my chart here, you know. We've got some really bright greens in there, haven't we? We've got this one here, the oriental green, which is that one. It sort of reminds me in a way of phthalo green or viridian green, that sort of colour, isn't it? This one's really nice, sap green. See, to me, sap green isn't that colour. So it's not the sap green which I know. But it might do the job for what we want it for. Or you've got May green, which also for me, I tend to use one called leaf green, which I think is one by De La Rowney, which is very similar to this one here. So I'm going to go for the leaf green, I think, initially. Oh, that's really bright. Oh, man alive. I might put that on first and then tone it back down with another green afterwards. Yeah, I know. That's really bright, isn't it? I can use some more browns or yellows or anything like that within the mixes as well. There's plenty in there. We don't need a great deal of it, do we? In fact, I'm going to add a touch of that transparent yellow in there as well. I've got all these off camera, as you know. So I'm going to use that initially just to dab on for those really green parts of that lichen. So here we go. Lichen. Lichen. Not lichen. Lichen, not lichen. You tell me. Just dab a few on here and there. We're not trying to copy the photograph, remember. Just something similar to it, that's all. A few little dabs and taps. Just to give you an indication there's some sort of green lichen in there. Lichen. And the same down the bottom as well. A few dabs and taps. Also adds a little bit more colour to the painting, doesn't it? And then I've got to think about the dark colour, which is that brown colour, isn't it? Now we have got this one here, whatever makes that one was now. But again, you might have different colours to me. If I wanted something like this, I'd probably use a mixture of something like burnt umber, burnt sienna, and just a touch of Payne's grey in there. That would give us something similar to it. Yeah, I think so. And again, you can change the colours as much as you want to. It doesn't have to be the same as this at all. It really doesn't. Some of this will be that sort of blue lichen, within there. Can't help it. I really can't help it. Bit of blue to darken it down. And then down here, bit of brown. If you want it darker, add a touch of blue in there. Back and forth like a yo-yo. Somebody called me that once. And then the same in here. And the exits are here, here, and here. Pardon. Pop this layer on, and whilst you're doing it, just add a few odd colours here and there as well into that wet mix. Just to vary it, really. The more varied it looks, the more realistic the branch should appear. Apparently, so I've been told. Well, I do hope you enjoyed painting this one. Your next one to work on is in the top right hand corner of the screen, okay? Hopefully, I'll see you there.